Alright, hey everyone. Welcome to this week's Accumulated Knowledge for Team Cardhoarder with Noah Walker. This week I'm playing a deck really similar to the Grixis Delver deck that I usually play, but it's actually Jerry Thompson's Grixis Control deck from GB Columbus that he top 16'd with. And I actually really like a lot of the changes, or I mean, not really changes, it's a different deck definitely, but I really like some of the card choices that Jerry chose to play. So it's super similar to any other, blue deck in Legacy, playing 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponders. But it also plays Forge Taxing Probe because you have the 3 Cabal Therapies. And the Lightning Bolts because, of course, if you're playing Grixis deck, you need Lightning Bolts. So he's playing 1 Daze, which is super interesting. I think it's just more of a card. Your opponent doesn't really know how many copies of that card are in your deck, and they're going to probably have to play around it sometimes. And if they don't, you can maybe just catch them off guard. And it's another free counterspell like Force of Will. One of the real differences in this deck that I like are the Jaces and the Painful Truths. This deck is basically like where I'd want, like what I'd want my Grixis Delver deck to look like post board against like one of the grindier matchups, like the Mirror or like a Shardless deck or something, because it has so many more value cards. You have the Painful Truths, the Jaces, the Baleful Strixes, all similar effects to what I would want in a matchup where it's going to go late. So like I'd have to think that this deck is probably slightly worse against something like a combo deck, just because you don't have as much pressure. So like you still have a similar amount of disruption spells, like Cabal Therapy is great against them. You still have Force of Will and stuff, but Delver is really good at applying pressure there. But against all the decks where like they have so many removal spells, like Delver doesn't really do very much. And there you have like the Painful Truths, the Jaces, the Strix and stuff. So yeah, I really like the way this list looks. That's basically the main deck. The only real differences between this deck and like a Delver deck are it has more lands and it has more late game threats like the Jaces. And just value cards. Painful Truths is one of the only cards in Legacy that you're paying 3 mana for and getting more than a single card back for it. So let's move on to the sideboard a little. There's 2 Power Blasts for mirror stuff, miracles, 2 surgical extractions, for all the graveyard based decks, lands, stuff like that, 1 invasive surgery. This card seems insane against lands and also pretty good against combo decks. At least Show and Tell, it's definitely going to be insane against. Other combo decks, they don't play that many sorceries, but you can hit. There's a couple important ones that you can hit. Then there's 2 Pithing Needles. Pithing Needles great, against top, against lands decks. Just very, very flexible card. 2 Abrupt Decay. So this card, this is like the greatest card ever in my opinion. I really like it though, because I mean obviously it's there for miracles so that you can not die to the counterbalance lock. But the reason it feels greedy to me is because there's only like 1 green source in the deck besides Deathrite Shamans. In a lot of matchups where you'd want to bring in Abrupt Decay, like the Mirror match or like some Delver deck, because it kills Goyf and stuff, they usually play Wastelands. So like if they keep you off Deathrite Shaman and kill your drop ever, then you just can never cast an Abrupt Decay, which does suck. But I think most of the time, like you'll be fine just bringing it in against miracles and having other removal spells for the other creature decks. But maybe it's okay against the wasteland small creature decks. But it just feels pretty greedy to me. Like you don't want to be stuck with a dead card in your hand almost ever in Legacy. Like that is about as bad as it gets. So. A 3rd Baleful Strix. This card's insane against all the creature decks, Eldrazi, stuff like that. Diabolic Edict. This card's really interesting. It's really good against Show and Tell, stuff like that, big creatures. But also it's just good against like a Tarmogoyf deck, something like that. Toxic Deluge, also really good against various different combo decks. Really good against the low creature decks, Elves, Death and Taxes, stuff like that. Same thing with Staticaster. And then there's a Submerge for, definitely for, I assume just like Maverick decks, and I've played Submerge in my sideboard a good amount in Grixis Delver, and yeah, definitely good against, like Rug Delver. It's really good against Elves, stuff like that. But yeah, this list looks super sweet. I'm gonna run it through a league today. On my off week, just playing this deck, one and done. But it's definitely looking like a really sweet deck. Gonna have fun playing this one. It's like the sideboarded, or it's like the post boarded fair matchup Delver deck of my dreams. So I'm really excited to play it this week, and yeah, let's get into the matches.